So welcome everybody to this live. We are Jonathan and Sasha, and we are embodiment and intimacy mentors, working with couples, and I work with women individually.
And I've been working with men individually for over 5 years.
Yeah, and today we wanted to
Excuse me.
dive into the topic of polarity.
Big topic. It's a really big topic.
And actually, before we do this, I know that some of you said one of you is currently single, another one is in a relationship. Do any of you identify as entrepreneurs here? We also like to know that. If yes, if you can put a 1 in the chat.
We'll give you more insight into that, why we asked this question. Okay.
Yeah, so we can get into the first point.
Yeah.
Why masculine and feminine energy gets scrambled during growth. Do you wanna?
Yeah, so I'm just going to encourage us, everyone here, just take a deep breath together, just remembering to breathe consciously here, because some of the things we share here may come up against some edges and may make you uncomfortable, whatnot, or trigger you. And if that's the case, amazing. Just remember to breathe. So wherever you are, sit nice and tall, and then exhale completely, squeezing all the air, all stagnation. And then inhale, effortless expansion. Maybe exhale with a sigh. Okay, wonderful. So, why masculine and feminine energy gets scrambled during growth? Well, from our experience, what we've seen is understand that for the most part, men resist change. And for the reason that men don't want to be in chaos. They want stability. They want to feel capable of providing safety and protection, and for their feminine, for their partners. And so with that says, like, when men do go into are stepping into the into growth and change, and it can be very destabilizing for men, because they're not used to being in that realm, like working with the ocean of emotions that arise when we come into these times of change and transformation,
Which is considered the feminine aspect of our psyche.
Yeah, so this can be really challenging for the women at times, because the women tend to be more emotionally intelligent, and they tend to it creates a space where the women tend to can step into more of a leadership in that dynamic, which kind of puts the women more in their masculine kind of mom mode, right? Which the reality is that kills polarity. It's not mom mode's not sexy. So that's just one perspective. I'm curious how that lands with people. Does that sound like, how is that landing for you? Does anyone relate to that? Not quite.
Yeah, so for the some of you that are new here, you may not know that we actually spent 5 years living outside of conventional society. This is when we lived in Costa Rica. And 3 years ago, we decided to come back and reintegrate. And what was fascinated has been to just see how much society has changed even in those 5 years. And we're currently living in Canada, and there's a lot of issues around gender that are being explored, and this total kind of almost like chaos where people are questioning, what is masculine, what is feminine, where do I fit, am I a man, am I a woman? And it causes this blurred ways that we even navigate together as men and women. And what I've been seeing, just generally coming back into this society, is that for a lot of women, because of the need to survive in current society, because of economical conditions, a lot of women tend to generally live their life out of a very masculine energy, masculine approach. And for a lot of them, it can be argued if if a woman doesn't have a partner, she kind of has to provide for herself and she has to fend for herself. And even if she has a partner, she can still do the same. And so this concept of feminine energy can actually be almost foreign to a lot of modern day women. They don't know how to be soft, they don't know how to relax, and they don't know how to receive from the masculine. There's like this pushback, like, I don't want you to open doors for me, I don't want you to pay for me, I'm good.
Independent woman.
Yeah. And that is not something that creates polarity. I was born in Russia. It's a different culture. It's definitely more traditional. There's more kind of like, you could say, cultural expectations of the roles between men and women. And I actually deeply understand why that is the case, why there is, this is what the masculine kind of could be doing, this is what the feminine could be doing. It doesn't mean that it has to fit every couple, but it does mean that you need that separation in order for polarity to even be present. Because if the polarity is 50-50, the woman is independent, confident, doesn't need anything from a man, and I guess the man could also be exploring his emotionality, then it can be tricky for them both to connect and to feel sexual attraction, because again, it's like, who is leading, who's following.
Yeah. And this is something that we have experienced a lot in our dynamic because of how much we've been growing, living together, traveling together, building business together, facilitating transformation events, retreats together. We've done a lot of work, so we both are very integrated. I very much have integrated my feminine, and Sasha's very much integrated her masculine. So when we're in like work mode, and that we very much are in that more that neutral polarity, and that actually is very beneficial because it allows for a lot of ease and grace and flow in doing in our reality. But ultimately,
when it comes to a romantic relationship, that has to be changed.
Yeah, because
that no longer works.
Yeah. So in our dynamic, I do identify as a man, and I love being a man.
I love being a woman. I love being a woman.
So we've realized it's like find ways to come back into that polarity, create that polarity. It doesn't need to be extreme. Like we're not but it has to be enough. And like if we were to give it a ratio, we'd like a 70-30. So for myself, I'd like to return to that 70% my masculine, 30% my feminine. And that creates, and vice versa. And this creates enough polarity, whereas that it creates that sexual fire, right? Which is important to maintain that sexual connection, intimacy. Mm-hmm. That so many couples are lacking, and they're just not prioritizing. And
so actually that's the top mistake that couples make that kill attraction, is that they are not. You wanna speak?
Yeah, but before we move to that point, I just want to know how that last part landed. Can you guys relate to that? Do you understand, have a better understand the whole polarity and how that can create separate or like lack of fire within the relationship?
Yeah, if you can write in the chat.
I said, you can hit that heart, guys. Just let us know that you guys are still with us here as active participants.
Yeah, and when we work with our private clients, couples, when we work with couples specifically, what we love to do with them is we love to introduce different games where the couple themselves learns about like what are some of the activities that we can do that say like make me feel like I'm in my feminine energy, or the man to feel like in his masculine energy. And that exploration almost has to happen for each couple, because again, we are all individual different human beings. We have different dynamics in how we like to live our life, and no one can tell you exactly what that looks like for you. But as you begin to explore through the different exercises and games that we provide, it gets really, really fun, and then you get to be more aware and consciously cultivate that polarity between you two.
which allows the chemistry, the fire, the fire to the passion to be restored.
Yeah. So Jason says definitely can be confusing.
Yeah, especially men who are more or less committed to their spiritual awakening. Like where they do start to learn how to better access their emotions and that. What I found in part of my own journey, especially when I was living in Costa Rica, is where like I almost became went too much in my feminine. I became passive in a lot of ways, and I know this served me at that time as I was kind of peeling back the layers of conditioning, societal and family conditioning, but ultimately it put me, I was kind of like in this Peter Pan archetype, like where I just like no clear direction or purpose, not really leading, in my relationship. And this is fairly pretty common with men, like more conscious couples where the men are becoming more emotionally aware, right? And this is beautiful because this is part of the healing process, and this is why it's so important to understand polarity.
And like we like to say that there are like natural stages, right? Like it can be a natural stage for men to kind of not want to hold responsibility and be like, screw it, I'm going to explore my feminine, I'm going to like deeply heal. And it worked for Jonathan, again, because we were in Costa Rica, we actually had that time and space. And because of that, he and my complaint of like, what the hell, dude, like let's I want some more leadership. He got into men's work.
Yes, and this is why we're such big advocates for like any man who's on this path. Like I've really want to heal and learn how to peel back those layers. They need brotherhood. You need brotherhood, and whether it's a natural brotherhood or a close circle of friends. But just these spaces where men feel safe to practice vulnerability with empowerment, really to learn how to truly feel, reveal the stuck to energies and tensions, so they can feel it and therefore heal it. And without that, it's really challenging because as men, we don't really want our partners to have to hold that compassionate space for us. They can. Sasha's a powerful space holder. She's quite capable of holding that space for me, but I don't really want her to, because it puts her more into her masculine, right? Because the masculine is the presence. It's the space space holder, right? And so it doesn't really play well into our polarity if I'm continuously like getting Sasha to hold space for my emotions.
And that was actually a real challenge for us, like 5.5 maybe years ago when we got together. So like we really know that this can really happen for a lot of couples. And either you find a solution to like be aware of this and find brotherhood and sisterhood to help you navigate it, or like you're not gonna have nourishing, passionate sex that is like your superpower as a couple.
Yeah, we talk a lot about that in actually a lot of videos on YouTube. How we move from conventional sex to sacred sexuality.
And we actually have part 1 and part 2 master classes that are paid on our website that also introduce you to this topic of like, what is your actual hidden superpower as a couple, and how do you get into this this different way of approaching your intimacy.
Yeah.
So Jason
says, raising kids, managing household finances, it can all create various roles and power dynamics. Yeah. Changing leadership within the relationship, but it can become confusing. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's if you don't have those clear roles, because obviously we play different roles. I mean, this is the dance, right, of the masculine and feminine, but it's like really understanding that and knowing who's playing what role when, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
it's very important.
It's very important.
Karen, it is interesting, but I'm not sure yet how I relate to what you say, because I identify as bi and I love men that are very in touch with their feminine and feel turned off by a lot of testosterone. Right, and you're gonna find your own, right, your own balance, but there's still gotta be polarity. Yeah. Masculine, feminine exists in all of us, yeah. Right? And this is your journey of like what works for you.
Find that unique balance in your partner that complements yours, so there's that attraction, right? So there's that passion. Jace says, exactly. Passive when sometimes assertive is more desirable, but it's hard. It's a hard balance.
Passive when sometimes assertive.
Passive when you could could be assertive. Yeah. It's trying to figure out wouldn't it be passive? Wouldn't it be assertive? Right. That's the masculine and feminine right there. It's like, and in men, it's like. Yeah, I mean, this is the dance. This is being, this is going to be unique to each individual. It's just, ice with. It's just being aware, like being familiar with the polarities
and deeply feeling into each moment what the relationship requires, what the connection requires. We also teach this, and we have a course for couples that teaches them these very important skills, lifelong skills, on how to communicate your needs, how to communicate your truth, how to communicate your desires.
Yes.
Like we have a beautiful core practice that we've been doing for the last 5.5 years that has really supported our growth through all the different stages of our relationship.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of initiations, as I've already described. Like we literally got married in 2022, and then we left Costa Rica after living there full time for 5 years, and then re-enter the world essentially wide open. We just spent 5 years healing, peel back all the layers, peel back all the armor that allowed us to feel safe in a sick society. And we peeled back all that back, and then we were continuously shifting, changing, transitioning, and it was a lot. It was like we were continuously standing in the fire, continuously stepping in the mystery. And if we didn't have this structure within our relationships and these rituals for connection, then we may not have lasted. And instead of falling apart, we've become stronger as a result.
And super resilient.
To the degree super resilient. To the degree now, this is now what we are now doing fully is supporting couples.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to build this kind of connection and relationship.
Yeah, and to build a legacy of love, where you can truly build something beautiful together that's greater than yourselves.
Yeah, so we're going to move next into the top mistake the couples make that kill attraction, and then we're going to take you into a polarity reset practice that you can use tonight. Hopefully I think we do have some couples here. So yeah, that's the plan. So the top mistakes that couples make, that we see, that we have ourselves experienced, and that we often hear and notice couples that we work with experience, is that they do not prioritize intimacy and connection.
Yeah.
It's like everything else has to happen first.
Mm-hmm.
Work, kids, like helping everyone else. But then sex is basically put to the last priority. And then, of course, by the end of the day, when you're exhausted from everything you were doing, it just doesn't happen. It either doesn't happen or it's completely unsatisfying.
Yes, it's more used as an attention release, or it's more performance based and just kind of friction, like going through the motions, but not really satisfying, not really cultivating deeper intimacy and connection. And
mm-hmm.
yeah.
And that is something that we're encouraging couples not to do. If your intimacy is important to you, if you want to have a relationship that is solid and loving, you having an amazing love making is like the glue. It has been our glue. It has been our glue. Apart from the practices we already talked and that we teach in our course,
yeah.
Our lovemaking has truly been the glue that keeps us together.
The glue and the greatest catalyst in our own healing and transformation and awakening.
And manifestation.
And manifestation, right? Because learning how to use that sexual energy to remove the blockages, to liberate ourselves on the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual levels. And it's allowed us just to really be more empowered and be models of empowerment for each other, our family, our clients, and our community.
Yeah, and we would like to ask, contemplate, do you prioritize connection and intimacy with your partner? Do you actually prioritize it?
And if you're single, do you prioritize it with yourself? Do you have that's a vulnerable topic, but it's like having a relationship with yourself. A self-love
Intimacy
practice.
Is a vulnerable topic, so...
It is.
I don't know why you say.
I know, but...
But yeah, and if you are not prioritizing intimacy and connection with yourself or with your beloved, what are you prioritizing instead?
Yes.
That's quite a jarring question. And you know, I was looking into like the common amount that people work in Canada. And for most people, it's 49 weeks out of 52. So, you know, most people have 3 weeks vacation, but they work 49 weeks. How is this a balanced society? It's not.
It's not.
We're saying it's not. It's actually, well, a society based on a bit of a slavery, a willing slavery for people to give their time for money. And we're really aware of this, coming back into it and being in it. And one potential, you know, transformative change you can make in your life and in your partnership is just to consciously choose to prioritize your connection.
Yep.
So that means you schedule your date nights.
Excuse me.
It means you show up to those date nights and you like
In full presence. Closing all the other tabs, turning the phone on airplane, letting your family or kids or whatever know that you need this space to connect. Because if you don't create that space, then
it's just not gonna happen.
it's not going to happen.
And if you don't have the proper support, and we're aware that a lot of people don't actually have proper support to even feel like, oh, like, you know, maybe they have kids and they don't have enough support, or, you know, whatever it is. This is another problem of society. Why do we not have enough support? Why is there not community around each couple, you know, that is there to provide that support? So this is another big value and something that we are really promoting and looking for ourselves. We had a beautiful community in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Super beautiful. And we are looking to have kids. We don't have them yet, but we're looking to have kids and have that support system. So we really
want a village around us. We want to have, you know, beautiful soul brothers and sisters who can raise our children together, you know, like, and we're happy to like, here, please spend time with my children. And they're happy to do so with us as well, you know, our
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, and you know, because we've been in the transformational space for a long time, we've been we have 20 plus years combined experience as healers, facilitators, you know,
guides, mentors.
We understand how scary change can be, but we also understand that it starts with an intention and the desire to actually do something about the problem that you're having. So when we say, you know what, you can prioritize your intimacy if you choose to, your power is given to you to be like, actually, you know what, I can, because I have exact same time as everyone else in the world. We're all equal when it comes to that, but how do you spend your time?
Yeah, your greatest resource, right, is the time and energy. And it's like, it's such an important thing to remember. Like, the greatest currency on this planet isn't Bitcoin or gold, it's our attention, right?
Oh, and by the way, if you are, say, somebody who works 9 to 5 and you are curious to move into a freedom lifestyle, we actually have a path for you. Mm-hmm. Just message us and we can tell you a bit more about that.
Yeah. Maybe just take a moment there. Just wondering if there's any questions.
Yeah, before we move into the
practice,
a little practice, and before we close the space.
Yeah. How's this all landing for you guys? What really stood out for you? What may be triggering? Like, yeah, all is welcome here, guys.
Yeah, and those of you, if you're new to my profile, I have amazing meditations for men and women. And one meditation that can really serve your intimacy and connection is called Deep Nervous System Reset. It's my second popular, most listened to meditation on my profile, and it's free. So check that out.
Yes.
All right, so no questions. Curious, we do, before we move into the practice, we actually want to make sure you guys are here with us. So those of you that are here, please put a 1 in the chat. If we don't get any, we're not going to do the practice.
Okay, so for the single men here, and if you're regardless if you're single or not, this is still a really powerful practice. What we're going to encourage you to do is find a sitting position where you can sit really tall and relaxed. So probably in a chair for most of you. Actually, I would encourage you to sit in a chair or kneeling. And as men, I encourage you just to basically grab your groin, and just breathe into that place. You imagine breathing into your groin, and with each inhale, bring that energy from your balls to your heart. Just by remembering where our attention goes, energy flows, and by doing so, you are naturally going to increase the testosterone if you're a man. Mm-hmm. If you're a woman, in a single, what you can do is actually place your hands on your breast. Okay, so because these are the power centers. For men, it's your groin, your genitals. For women, it's your breast. Right. So just for women, you can place your hands there and just breathe into your breast. Right. We're receiving that. Just really it's that simple, guys. It's like it's where attention goes, energy flows. Right. So that's a great way to. That's a daily practice, by the way. I do that daily to help just increase natural testosterone. Right, and we do this for each other often. So that is a practice if you're single. If you happen to be in a relationship here, then
actually let's find out.
Sure.
Do you have anybody who is in a relationship on right now on this call? Because if not, again, we don't need to do it. So I don't know, Betty, if you are single or in a relationship, can you let us know?
For those that are here, I'm assuming you're single because you're not saying otherwise. Were you familiar before I shared the whole idea of like the men's power center being or basically testicles, groin, and the women their breast? I'm curious if that was something you were aware of beforehand, and that by by placing awareness, tension here, massaging these areas actually increases natural testosterone, estrogen.
Oh, okay. So we do have two men here now. We can see that.
Okay. So, two men, Jason and Swiss.
Okay. All right. Well, we're not gonna do the practice for couples because we have no couples here. And we are going to move into closing of the session. So once again, giving you guys the opportunity to ask any questions for anything we've shared. Welcome to write them in the chat.
Yeah, provide any insights that may have come, any aha moments.
Yeah, and like we spoke in the beginning, if something really landed for you, we love to receive your donations. And again, it indicates to your brain that the exchange has happened and you received value.
Yeah.
If you're new to my channel, you can also follow, receive notifications for live events or something like that. So anytime we go live, you'll be notified.
Yeah, JC, if you haven't already, follow me. You can find me at Jonathan McCall here on Insight Timer. And I have a group called Embodied Man. Swiss is on there. I'm going to be sharing something really exciting there soon. I'm creating a course for men to be more resilient and adaptable to change. Yeah, it's really exciting.
Yes. All right. Well, it sounds like you guys have no questions, so going to close up the space. So coming back to yourself, maybe closing down the eyes. And let's just ask, what is the most optimal color to be wrapped around for the integration of this session? And then imagining that color wraps around your energetic field. Going to ask for the most smoothest, beautiful integration as a result of this session for your life. Let's just take one inhale and one exhale all together. So inhaling. Exhaling. Thank you for being here with us. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and
Till next time.
See you next time.